All right, what's happening? What's happening, guys? Good morning to you. It is Thursday, February 11th, 2021. This morning, we're going to talk about 3 sales tactics that will make you money. Doesn't matter if you're in sales or not, these 3 things will most definitely be able to make you money in some aspect of your life and make your life easier. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, guys, what's happening? Good morning to you. Happy Thursday. Thank you guys for being here. As always, it is good to be here. And this morning, I wanted to talk some sales, man. I was thinking last night about some conversations that I had yesterday afternoon, and I thought, man, what a good topic to share with some folks, because regardless of whether you are in sales or not, or whether you're even in business or not, sales is a requirement in life. It requires, every communication, every relationship requires some level of sales skills, meaning communication skills and kind of just understanding how to get the most out of other people and how to get the most out of your relationships, how to give the most, how to be the person that people actually want to be around. Those are all skills that come from, kind of understanding sales in some way, shape, or form, right? So that's what I wanted to talk about this morning. And I got 3 great suggestions for you guys to be able to increase your sales skills. And hopefully that will transition into making you money in some way, shape, or form, right? In relationships, it can lead to an introduction. It leads to a new job. And obviously in business relationships, it can lead to more activity, more sales, more conversions, higher close rate, things like that. So we're going to dig into that in a second here. But first, as always, I want to say good morning to some folks. What's happening, Jared Bird? Good morning, Carla, Tammy, Brian Sharp, Misa. Good morning to you. And good morning to Nico and Isaac as well. Ryan Austin, good morning, man. Rick, Eric Stanley, Lynn, got the team on here. And Derek Swank, good morning. What's happening, my brother? So 3 sales tactics that will make you money. Let's dive right in here. So good morning, Kara. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Calloway. So sell with passion is number 1. One of the things that I say all the time is that you have to be completely sold yourself on what it is that you do and the service that you provide or the product that you provide in order to be able to sell someone else on that product or service effectively. And I can't stress that enough. Like when I work with people and they are struggling in sales, usually there is something within that company or within the process that they are trying to sell that they don't agree with or they are not in line with. So think about that, right? If you can't sell with passion, if you can't be completely confident, like 100% confident, not 99% confident, but 100% confident in exactly what you are selling, the service that you're providing or the product that you are selling, then you have to figure out how to get to that point of certainty so that you can sell with the very highest level of passion possible. Because if you can't sell with that passion, you're not going to be successful at the level that you could be or should be if you are completely sold yourself on that product or that service that you're providing. An example of that would be that you work for a company and something about the way that they do things, maybe you don't agree with. Maybe it's something you don't understand. If that is the case, then you have to get with your leader and you have to figure out how to get sold, how to convert that to a point where you can be certain, where you can get in alignment with that. If you can't get in alignment 100% with what you're selling, then quite honestly, you need to sell something else. Like you probably need to move on from that career. You can't dig your heels in and say, man, I'm just not in agreement with this, because it will come out in your approach with clients. So think about that. You have to sell with passion. That's the very first sales tactic, the very first sales thing that's important in the sales process is that you have to be confident. You have to be passionate. If you don't have that, you're not going to be successful. That is the absolute first building block. And that means you have to be sold yourself on that product or service to be able to be effective at selling it. Number two, you have to be able to ask great questions to be able to solve people's problems. Sales happen when problems are solved. So think about that. When a problem is solved, there is money that can be exchanged to solve that problem. So your responsibility as a salesperson, as a sales professional, is to ask great questions. So how do you ask great questions? First and foremost, you have to be very interested in that person and that business that you are actually serving, right? That you're interacting with. Or in life, you have to be more interested in the other person than you are in what it is that you want. And so the first thing that you have to do is ask people great questions. So ask people questions about their life, about who they are, what they're passionate about, what problems they're experiencing, what is making them uncomfortable, what keeps them up at night with regard to their position, right? If we're selling to people that own parking lots, the first thing that I want our team to figure out is what are the biggest challenges that they've had over the years working with other contractors, right? Because if I can figure out what those challenges are and we can build our entire approach of serving that customer around solving those problems, then man, we can really create a great relationship. We have to ask great questions to be able to find out if our values align with another person or with another company. If your values don't align, you're going to have a difficult business relationship, right? So if you ask great questions, you're going to get the other person talking. And when you get that other person talking, they're going to tell you all kinds of things about themselves, about what they're passionate about. People love to be able to talk about themselves, their career, their business, and especially about the challenges, because if they feel like they can talk about their challenges and you are a person that could possibly solve those problems for them, they're going to be more than willing to share that information. So you have to ask great questions. And to do that, you have to, yesterday I had Stephen Kuhn, he wrote the book, Unleash Your Humble Alpha. I had him on our Top Contractor Inner Circle call. And he talked about creating space, right? Creating that space so that you can actually go into a meeting completely clear of all of the other stuff that we carry around every day. So being present, being there for another person, just being right there where you are, focused on that person with no outside noise going on, and then having a discussion, asking great questions. Can you imagine if you were just present, fully present, and you ask somebody great questions and you genuinely listen to them? And then you ask more follow-up questions and you got information out of them. What would happen to your relationship? I can tell you what happens when people do this to me is that we end up building a great relationship, a great friendship, and then we find a way to do business together. Why? Well, because we understand each other. We share the same values. We have a passion for helping people that we genuinely have a great relationship with. And so it's just a natural progression, right? When you ask somebody great questions and you give them the opportunity to speak, when you're more interested in them than you are trying to be interesting yourself. Be interested, not interesting, is something that I heard a few weeks back, and I've been using it over and over and over again because I think it's such a powerful statement. Be interested in another person. Don't try to be interesting. Try to be the professional that gets the right information out of them so that you can actually solve their problems. And when you can be the company or the person that can actually solve someone's biggest problems, you will never, ever, ever look for people to sell again, because they will start coming to you, because you will become known as the company that solves problems, the person that solves people's problems. I could give you countless examples of how people have made millions of dollars doing nothing but solving people's problems, finding a problem that existed in a niche, and then going after creating every single process and procedure and everything about how they do business around solving those problems. It starts with, though, number 2, asking great questions, because you can't figure out what the problems are if you don't ask the right questions. So think about that. Number 1 is sell with passion, get sold on yourself completely. And number 2 is ask great questions. Be interested, not interesting. And number 3, last but not least, but the thing that is most frequently missed in sales and business in general, is to have incredible and impeccable follow-up. Period. If you have incredible and impeccable follow-up, you will win more than everybody else. Now, how do we have incredible and impeccable follow-up? You have to make sure that your follow-up is not boring, that it is not somebody just calling and saying, hey, Brian, this is Mike. I just wanted to check in on that deal that we had on the table. Hey, just wanted to see if you made a decision yet. Hey, just wanted to check in on that deal that we've got. Nobody wants to receive that call. But if they receive a call that is educational, that is creative, that is fun, that is entertaining in some way, shape, or form, they are very likely to not only call you back or not only take your call, but to create a deeper relationship with you. And that deeper relationship will lead to sales, right? It will lead to more conversions, better conversations, you understanding the client better, you having a better relationship or friendship with those folks in your life. If we're talking about non-business, what if you made a list of all your friends that you interact with that have done good things for you, or that you've had conversations with and they told you they had something going on in their life? What if you actually followed up with those people to check in on them? I try to do that as often as I can. If I find something out about someone, yesterday I was on a call. I heard somebody talking about their child. I asked them their name. They told me how old they were. They told me what their birthday was. I wrote it down. So when their birthday comes, I'll call that person. I'll shoot them a text and say, hey, happy birthday to your daughter. That is what creates deeper relationships, and it's what creates an enormous sales funnel that, by the way, doesn't feel like you're selling. And I think that's the most important thing that people get wrong in the world, is that they have this perception of salespeople, because most salespeople are not very good at what they do. They're desperate. They're trying too hard. They're pushing too hard. They're not doing the things that make it just natural to do business with someone. And so when you think about that, are you trying too hard if you're in sales? If you're thinking about this from a personal standpoint, are you pushing just a little too hard? Are you insecure, so you're asking too many questions about yourself, or you're looking for some kind of validation from people? People want to do business with people who are confident, who are passionate, who know their stuff, who are more interested in them than themselves. I want you to think about that, because that insecurity that you have, whether it comes from not being sold yourself, or whether it comes from something that you're doing in your life that's just a repeat, you kind of get stuck in a rut a little bit and you're repeating things. And so you're looking for external validation. And when you seek that from clients, or you seek that from other people, it exposes you, right? So sell with passion, be confident, be sold yourself, ask great questions, be interested in the person that you're talking to. Try this today, guys. When you go into a conversation, you find yourself engaged in a conversation, literally just block everything else out and be present with that person. Put your phone down. Turn off everything else that's going in your life and just be present with that person. And think about, what do I want to know about this person? What would I like to learn about them? What don't I know that would be interesting to talk about? And then ask them some questions and get them talking about themselves, and watch how they light up. Watch how they fill up. Or in some cases, watch how they tell you what challenges they're having in their life. And that gives you an opportunity to listen, to be a great friend, or in the case of a customer, to be a great vendor, to be a great salesperson that can solve their problems, that can help take some pain away from their life. But that happens by you being present, asking great questions and listening more than you talk. And again, last reminder, follow up, follow up, follow up. Make sure it's creative and fun. You know, I send follow-ups through selfie videos on my phone, and I try to, you know, show them something that's familiar to them, or I show them something that I'm working on. I show them the office. I show them the people that are in the office. I show them anything that I can to make it personal, to make it real, to make it non-business related and salesy, right? And when you create something that makes them feel like, you know, maybe they're a little bit bigger part of what you do, it makes them feel good, right? It makes them feel like, you know, man, I'm not just being sold here. Like, I'm not just calling and asking for money all the time, right? And so make it creative, make it fun. I have some things that I send out when people go cold on us, right? When they go dark, and, you know, creative memes that are funny. Like there's one that I learned from someone that's a skeleton sitting on a bench, and it says, here I am just waiting for Brian to call me back, right? But it's entertaining, right? It's funny. It's meant to be light. They know that they haven't called you back. They're not avoiding you for any reason. But if you have creative and fun and lighthearted follow-up, and you do it consistently, you're going to separate yourself, and it's going to make you incredibly successful and make you a lot of money in the process. So I hope these tips were helpful. I know for a lot of people that are in sales, they're probably just a great reminder, but nonetheless, I've been interacting with a lot of companies and people over the last couple of days here, and it's a great reminder. And especially this time of year, you know, it's kind of that for a lot of the country, it's a period of time when the weather, you know, it's 20 degrees outside today, I think, and there's snow on the ground. And, you know, it's difficult to kind of stay focused, but these things are the most important thing you can do. And if you haven't done a good job at it, you can always restart that process, or you can always kind of shift it to kind of get yourself back in that position. If you didn't ask a lot of questions during your meeting and you wish you would have, pick up the phone and just ask them some more questions. Just say, man, I was sitting here thinking, and I really feel like I missed a few things in our conversation. Would you have a couple of minutes for me to just ask you some questions? And then ask them some questions. Be interested, be present. Maybe share with them that you didn't think, you know, man, there was a couple of things I missed. I had some things on my mind that day. But today I want to be fully present with you. And I want to ask you these questions because I really, really would love to solve your problem. See how it works. I promise you it works. It has helped me close millions and millions of dollars in business. And it just feels right when you do it, right? It doesn't feel, Leonard just said it, don't be a salesman. Be a person that solves people's problems, right? Salesmen get a bad name for a reason because most are not very good at it. But if you are a person that solves people's problems, that genuinely has a passion for the product and service that you sell, that you provide, you ask great questions and you listen, and you have impeccable follow-up that makes people remember you, right? Part of follow-up is that reminder, I'm still here. It's not necessarily to close the deal on that call. It's I'm still here. And when you're ready, I'm ready. Think about that. Put that into practice today. Be present in your conversations with people and see where it leads you. I promise you these three tactics will make you more successful, and they will also make you a bunch of money in the process. So I hope it was helpful, guys. I hope that this points somebody in the right direction today and gives you a little different perspective on how sales is supposed to be. Sales is a service industry. It is not a pushy industry. And I hope that, through these tips that some of you guys can be reminded of what it is that we are all supposed to be doing in life when we're selling stuff and we're providing a service. It is meant to help people, and it is meant to be comfortable and fulfilling, not to feel like you are a bother. If you feel like you're a bother calling people, you are taking the wrong approach. And if you ever feel like that, give me a call and I'll help you get redirected to a service-based sales approach that will make you feel much, much better. It'll make your customer feel much, much better, and it'll make your business incredibly successful. I hope it was helpful, and I will see you guys again tomorrow morning, same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. Thank you guys for being here. Love you guys.